Welcome to a special edition of the Tiger Football Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikis, along with the brand new head coach of the Towson University Tigers, Pete Shinnick. First of all, welcome to Towson. It is a pleasure to have you here. And the first question is, why come to Towson?
Sure. No, well, first off, thank you. The reception here has been fantastic. Everybody that I've been able to engage with since arriving on campus have just been great to meet. Very excited about the opportunity. And, why is part of what I just said. I mean, what I've heard is there's a great group of people here that want to see this athletic department as well as football program succeed at a high level. Steve's vision for what this athletic department can be, what has transpired, I think, in the last 10 years. I mean, from facility standpoint, the growth of the university, all very attractive. And the fact that, born right down the road had a little bit to do with it as well.
Your father, number 66, and they gave you a number 66 jersey today. Probably made you feel good.
No, very kind of them. That's a great memory, and to be able to, have those photos. After the press conference, phone was blowing up with text messages, but one of them was from my brothers, just saying, man, that's a sweet deal. Oh, that's pretty cool. So fun to have that and have that opportunity and to be able to just, in a small way, honor my dad through this process.
That is great. Now, your father was a longtime assistant coach after his playing career with the Colts ended, so you have it in your blood. What made you want to get into coaching?
Yeah, really the influence that my dad had on his players. And probably through high school and then through college, ran into people that he had either coached with or he had coached or had known him or family member, that kind of thing. And just listening to them say, man, your dad was one of the best people around. Your dad did such a great job. Man, he really impacted me. I really liked playing for your dad. Or I really enjoyed getting to know him. And really saw coaching as a vehicle to impact and influence people in a positive way, while, also taking the game that I love, played it since I was little, been around it forever, and turning that into a profession. And so when I decided to get into coaching, I wanted to impact and influence people, just like my dad did, and make a career of it. And I've been blessed, been at some great places, been around a lot of, great coaches and players through the process. And looking at this, it's just exciting to add this to the next step in our chapter.
You played at Colorado and you played for Bill McCartney, a man who was known as being, Mr. Positive, a guy that really wanted to influence young men, and he did, and was very successful as a head coach. I take it not only from your father, but you took a lot from your former head coach.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Coach Mack was fantastic. I've never met a man more passionate, about his faith. Or about football. And he really did an amazing job of just impacting everybody around him. Another mentor through the process, a gentleman by the name of Ken Hatfield. I was with him at Arkansas and at Clemson. I feel bad for Coach Hatfield because he took the Clemson job and it didn't work out. But I met my wife there, so it turned out to be
worked out for you.
Yeah, one of the greatest moves I've ever made. So.
All right, so you come to Towson. You come from West Florida, where your team just made it to the semifinals. You won a national championship there in 2019. This Towson team finished 6-5. That's got to make you feel good that this team won their last 4 ball games. So you're not walking into a situation where, the last 3 years have been 2-9, 1-10.
Sure.
But you're coming into a situation where the team won, so you know that there is some talent here as you come to Towson.
Yeah, and really talked about that in the team meeting when they had the opportunity to talk to those guys and got another opportunity to kind of break it down positionally, to spend time with them. And so that was one of the things that was, attractive about it. Okay, they've got some grit, they've got some determination, they've got something going on that works. Okay, how can we parlay that into, an 11-game schedule? How can we look for ways to start a little faster? How can we look for ways to, keep that going in the middle? How they finished, that's fantastic. That will be a little bit of what we use, as we motivate our guys throughout the course of spring and summer, as to, how we approach this and what it looks like.
If I was to ask someone from West Florida or from UNC Pembroke, what is Coach Shinnick's philosophy football-wise? What would they tell me?
Yeah, I think, football to me is an opportunity to develop a young man in every aspect of his life. And so our program goals, we have 3 of them. We want to help each player become a better husband, father, employer, employee. So every decision I make based on, whether I'm going to praise somebody, discipline somebody, whatever it is, it's going to be, is that helping that guy become a better person? Number 2 is graduate in 4 and 4.5 years. And number 3 is play great football. And so I think you can wrap up everything that I'm trying to do right there in those three things. We got an opportunity for young men to get a degree from an amazing university when they come here. All right. We got an opportunity to go out on the football field on Saturdays, and hopefully we have more than 11 Saturdays if we play right and do what we need to. But we want to play great football, and we'll define what that looks like over the course of time. But program goal number one, I mean, that's an everyday 365-day opportunity to just help them see what a great husband looks like, what a great father looks like, what a great employer or employee looks like. And so excited about the staff members that we'll be able to bring in here and show these guys what this thing looks like.
You're taking over this program now. You just got here today. What is your immediate steps? What happens over the course of the next month? Because I know recruiting starts in just about a week.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got the first signing period. We're looking at that to examine, what do we want to do with that and how do we want to use that. But I also, most importantly, was connect with the current team because to me, they're the most important recruits. They're the ones that, they're here. They chose this university for a reason. We want to make sure that they're, happy with that choice and continue to stay here, and then want to put together a staff and hopefully have, a majority of those guys solidified here within the next couple days. Recruiting, it's every day, it's every minute. So we've started that process and, developing that, but it's really, in that order. Want to take care of the current team. Get the staff together on the same page, and then have the opportunity to attract a great recruiting class in this first opportunity for us.
Will you eventually go back and watch game film from this past year to see what you have?
Yes.
Or is it going to be, I want to see with a clean slate, don't want to know anything?
No, we're going to do that this weekend. Hopefully get some staff members in here to just kind of do a quick evaluation of what we have and what we're dealing with, and then how we can mold it and what it can do.
The Monmouth game was exciting. You'll like to watch that video. What
may need to turn on you commenting on it too. So I mean,
I don't know about that, but when you took over West Florida, they didn't have a program. You started it from scratch. How is that different from this?
Yeah, I think number one, time is probably the biggest one because I didn't have to coach a game 9 months after taking the job. That's number one. But there are very similar aspects to it, and I feel like anytime you take over any new organization, that you've got to come in and create, what your philosophy is, culture, philosophy, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we're going to instill our values upon this program, and then ask guys to live up to them, and ask guys to, be what the most that they can be. Again, we talked about in the press conference the Greek word for excellence, arete. You're going to see that on stuff that we have. You're going to see that around. It's excellence of any kind, living up to one's fullest potential, and moral virtue. So we're going to hold them to that standard. So as we go through this, it's establishing that and giving them an opportunity to see that we actually mean it, that we're going to hold them to a high standard, and then getting that culture established so that we can then go out and use that on the field. We got 9 months before we play a game. We got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of things that need to take place. And so as we do that, no matter where you go, whether you got 2 years to do it or 9 months to do it or whatever, you still got to be able to establish that base and that foundation.
Your first coaching job as an assistant was at Richmond, in then the Yankee Conference.
The Yankee Conference, exactly,
which is
right.
now the CAA. Have you looked at the conference to see what's changed since you were there, 35 years ago?
Well, I think when it was the Yankee, it was very competitive. I think now that it's the CAA, it's more competitive. And so I know a couple have left, and some have joined in. But to me, it's still one of the best FCS conferences, if not the best FCS conference in the country. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I look at this as an amazing challenge as to how we can get to the top of that conference to put ourselves in position to we are a playoff team year in and year out.
X's and O's. Do you have a certain philosophy, or do you mold it to the players that you have, or you try to get the players to fit into your philosophy?
Yeah, we're gonna mold. I think one of the things our staffs do very, very well is take what we have and find the best way to use them. And so part of the philosophy is, we've got a group here. They've been running a system. It's going to be a completely new system, but there's probably going to be some similarities. And the objective is find what they do well and then put them in the best position possible. I'm not a cookie cutter. Hey, it's got to be this way, got to be that. Everybody does this. It's okay. So if we got to do a little more of this, we'll do a little more of that. Whatever it takes to put the best product on the field and to give us the best opportunity to be competitive week in and week out. And so there's current guys here that we're going to have to play to their strengths, and then there's some guys we're going to have to develop, and then there's some parts that we're going to have to plug in.
You were an offensive lineman, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that you are more of an offensive-minded coach? That there are coaches that don't do much with the defense and
Sure.
they're on the offense, or the opposite, or are you kind of mixed into both?
Well, I've been calling the plays for the majority of my head coaching career. I'm going to step away from that just because I want to focus on other things, which will get me a little more involved in both sides of the ball. We do a great job with special teams. Very excited about what we're going to be able to implement and what we're going to be able to do to just enhance that. And so I'll be involved with everything. I'll have an offensive coordinator, have a defensive coordinator, have a special teams coordinator, rely heavily on them. But yeah, you'll see me involved in a lot of aspects of what we're doing.
We hope to see a lot of you.
Thank you.
We appreciate the time and welcome to Towson. We really, really look forward to what's going to happen over the next 5-10 years.
No, excited about it. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to a special edition of the Tiger Football Report, and we'll talk to you soon.